Hey Ellie, what's going on? Rob Cesternino here, and boy, I am looking forward to talking everything through with you because I just want to commend you. You played a very hard game that was very fun to watch.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot coming from you, Rob. It was
Thank you.
it was probably more fun for you to watch than for me to watch, but
Yeah.
it was fun to play. I'll say that.
Okay. I want to know going into that vote last night, by the time you sat down at tribal council, how vulnerable were you feeling that you were going to be the person voted out?
Oh my gosh. Not as vulnerable as I should have felt. I um had some conversations after the big blow up with Gabler, and really felt like there was a path to be able to get back together. Something we had kept saying before everybody got to our beach was to keep the five alive. And I, for whatever reason, really believed that we could be like, okay, it's all out in the open now. Let's clear the air. Let's get each other to the merge and help to get each other further in the game. And so, yeah, I really believed that. I think I was pretty nervous going into tribal, but then some of the conversations that happened at tribal council about like, hey, like don't play an advantage if you're, trying to rebuild trust with people. I was like, okay, shit, that's talking. Oh, sorry, Monica.
You're fine.
Shoot. That's talking about me. Like I should, Janine shouldn't play her idol. We should just kind of keep it cool. And so I, of course, was really nervous, but I had hope that we could keep the five alive.
Yeah, so going into that vote then, what was the plan that from your perspective of who was going to be voting with you and what were the votes going to be?
So I thought that Gabler still might write my name down. He's hard to reroute, but I thought that Sammy was still with me. I actually, even after knowing that he had spilled some beans, he explained it in a way that made me feel like he was really put in a corner and didn't have a choice. And so I'm like, okay, he's gonna want to repair this with me. So I thought we were together. I thought Owen and I were together, which he did end up. He was the only person that really voted with me. And then I thought that all of Vesey was voting with us as well. And so, yeah, I thought that we had enough to vote James, which was ideal in my mind, just because it seemed like he was running Coco. But it's not what happened.
Is that what happened? Yeah. Now, did you think that there was a realistic chance that Janine would play her idol on you? And did you feel like that it needed to be played in that spot?
Unfortunately, I mean, it digs my grave further in terms of where my head was at. It's embarrassing to even say that like I waved her off at some point and was like, no, I think we're good. I didn't think that she needed to play it. I really was convinced by what Gabler and Sammy had said, especially during tribal council, which is just so stupid. But thinking that like it could be more of a detriment to play the game. And I thought I'm at the bottom of this 5-person Baka alliance right now. I will be voted out next time if I play the idol this time. And so I thought my only shot of making it past the next vote, if I don't get voted out this time, would be to just play it cool. And I genuinely believe that I probably would have been next to go. So.
One of the questions we had after last night was Noelle's vote, which was for Cassidy. That we had thought that maybe you and Janine had struck up a bond with Noelle in the time that you had spent together, and she got left out of the vote. Can you tell us a little bit about Noelle in all of this?
Yeah, I mean, Noelle seemed to want to work with us. I think that Vesey seemed to want to work with Baka in general, at least Dwight and Noelle. There had been, a little bit of mat chat, I guess, going on, and they had helped us with that puzzle. We had tried at some point to help them with a puzzle, and so we did kind of form a bond before the merge, as much as you can. And so I think that there maybe was like throwing me a bone, but I honestly think that Cassidy vote was probably in case I played an idol or shot in the dark.
Got it.
Love Noelle. She was great in the game. I just think that probably it was more so strategic than it was just trying to be nice to me.
Okay, let's talk about Gabler. Okay, because this was, such a interesting relationship that the two of you had. Because again, based off of what we've seen on the show,
Mhm.
back in the first episode, Gabler has a struggle in the first immunity challenge, okay, and feels like I blew it. He basically comes back and says, "Guys, it's me tonight. It's me tonight. I'm gonna play my shot in the dark." And it seemed like
I'm
to
like,
me
no.
It seemed like to me that you were the one like, oh, hold on, Gabler, let's talk this through. And it seemed like that you really stuck your neck out to save Gabler and bring him into the fold. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is accurate. I felt at that point that he could contribute moving forward. He was strong. Like the puzzle or whatever, the table maze was a total mess. But in terms of like, he like pulled people up the wall. Like he was strong. He was contributing to camp. So in that moment, I felt like it was good for him to stick around.
Okay. He had the idol. And there was a lot of talk about, okay, well, what does his idol really say? And so, first off, could you just tell me that, I guess to start there, in terms of the how everything went with the bag search, how do you wish that would have gone instead? Like, do you wish that you never even got involved or would have handled it differently in terms of searching the bag?
Oh, so I mean, definitely wish that it went differently. My original plan, because I did have a good relationship with Gabler at that point, was just to ask him. I wanted to just say, hey, Gabler, I don't remember the instructions to your idol. Does it still work for your next tribal council? He would have said yes. And I would have been like, oh, great. You saw that happen with him and Sammy. Like it was not sketchy at all. He was just like, yeah, it still works. That's great. So that was my original plan. I think maybe the downfall was that the plan was talked over with the four of us that weren't Gabler, and it got messy from there of like, no, that'll attract too much attention. What if he doesn't know? Blah, 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 blah. And so we did the bag search, and then it's like, yeah, but what if he thinks, I totally realized that it's ridiculous to think that he wouldn't know his own clue. I fully get that.
But you have too much time out there. These ideas make sense when you're on the island.
Way too much time. I mean, I get why they don't have competitions every day, right? Because you need time to just stew in it. But yeah,
I like what you said about stew.
And then even after we searched the bag, the plan was I could just ask Gabler if he thinks his idol is still good. And then it's like, well, no, because then he might go look at his clue. And what if he wasn't going to? And he thought all along it didn't work. And so come up with this really sketchy way to ask. And so that really was not plan one. It also was not like my brainchild that I'm like, let me do this. I had zero hopes at that point, especially after being so visible at Mariah's vote, to remain visible like that. Every single day I'd be like, okay, I'm going to play it cool today. And then something would happen. I would be like, I will be at the center of this and fuck everything up.
Okay, so sorry, Mom, who's listening. Okay, so going back to then that pre-merge at Baca, that if you would have lost the challenge and come in last place and gone to a tribal council, what would that plan have looked like to basically convince that feeling like, okay, Gabler is convinced that his idol doesn't work and we're gonna blindside Gabler with his idol?
God, it sounds really dumb when you say it, Rob.
Hey, it worked on Eric Reichenbach.
Oh gosh. Well, I think the difference is that there wasn't somebody snitching information potentially. So I think that if Gabler didn't know that, if Gabler didn't know we had looked through his bag, the conversation where I'm like, your idol's expired, right? My expectation was that if he thought that it was still good, he would have said, no, it's still good. So really, more than anything, I was just trying to figure out what he thought about his idol. And so at that point, we're like, okay, I guess he really thinks that it's not good. There would be no other reason for him to say that, because why would he have previous information and want to trick us into thinking that he was unaware? And so we thought maybe he wouldn't play his idol. He talked a lot about wanting to keep it for his daughter as a graduation present. But then we also went back and forth pretty much daily about, well, do we want to throw a vote on Sammy or Owen just in case he does play it? So pretty much every day we thought, if we have to go to tribal, he still might play it. He could be tricking us. And we would talk about, do we want to put a vote on Sammy or Owen? But luckily, it didn't happen because I think I would have gone out earlier.
Yeah, maybe. So going back to that tribal council that you went to last night, do you know, was it explained whether or not that tribal council was indeed the official second tribal council that Gabler's idol would be active for?
Nothing is explained.
Yes.
First of all, they just tell you where not to poop. So sorry, God, why am I saying these things? No, of course
That should be a t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it should. No, they no, nothing is explained. And so
We'll find out.
I think it's a question, but I don't know that it's relevant. I think that it's the first 2 tribal councils that he goes to. I don't think it matters that he's immune, but that's just my hypothesis.
Okay. Yeah, ours too. Okay. So then you also seem to crack the code of that when Noelle said, "Hey, oh, Cody, this guy's crazy. He's making idol, or he puts beads on hats." And you said, "Okay, beads." You said that to Janine. Did you share that information with anyone else while you were out there?
You're never going to believe this. I also told Sammy, they did me a real service by not showing that. But yeah, of course, I told my ultimate confidant, Sammy.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Then going back to you in the preseason, everybody talked about how you and you talked about this, that the reason you got on the show was you get mistaken for Michelle Fitzgerald. Does that still happen? And does it happen more now?
Well, probably less now that they have seen the way that I played the game. I unfortunately didn't resemble her at all in strategy or ability to hold my tongue. So she's an incredibly strong player, and I look up to her, and I wish that I had played more like her. So yeah, that would be my hope if there's ever a next time, would be to play more like Michelle.
Okay. Now, is there any fun moments from your game that we didn't get to see that you want to let us know about?
I think just the fun that we had at camp, like obviously there's only so much that can be shown, but we had really good relationships. Sammy and I trusted him because we had such a fun relationship. We shared a lot with each other. We did fun things together. We threw a prom for Gabler's daughter and like made dresses and danced. And I mean, we, as goofy as you saw, it was way weirder when the sun went down. We would play games and just have a good time. And so as like the person who was there, I wish I had the home videos, of us just being rowdy and ridiculous and having a fun time with each other.
So it seemed like that you really do have a love for the game. If you were to play a second time, how would you approach the game differently?
I mean, I would be less trusting. I think what was perceived as overconfidence was really over trusting. I felt very confident in my relationships, and even after getting information that I shouldn't have been confident in them. And so it wasn't so much overconfidence in myself and my abilities. Of course, I had that awful, damning confessional being like, I'm better at this than I thought. Humiliating. But generally, I think I had overconfidence in my ability to trust other people. And so, not sharing as much information would be really great place to start, I think, for me.
Were there any things that really surprised you when you saw the episode last night in terms of all the conversations that were happening at the merge?
That's a good question. I think I knew at the time how much was happening. I think that I hoped that my conversations with Vesey, so I'd had conversations with Cody ahead of time about his name being thrown out. I don't know. I have to watch it back, honestly. Like, I just watched it last night and I still can't remember if Cassidy or I said his name first. I, for some reason, thought it was Cassidy, but honestly, it could have been me. And I just have no idea. So yeah. I talked to him about that almost immediately after I talked to Cassidy and was like, but I want to work with you. I want to work with Vesey. I think all of Baca does. So I want to give you a heads up that you might hear your name floating around. But I really want to get James out. And he actually came up with the idea of splitting the vote on Cassidy and James in case there was an idol on Coco that would be played. And so I felt like comfortable in that Cody, after having that conversation, I thought that he would be able to explain to Jesse, Noelle, and Dwight that like, oh, no, she's not really trying to get me out. That's a decoy or whatever. Okay. But also, I wouldn't blame him if he was like, screw you, I don't want to be a decoy vote. Let's get her out.
Okay, and real quick, last thing that we've seen 5 out of the first 6 people voted out of the game be women. When you were out there, was that a topic of conversation of, hey, we got to start to make sure that another woman doesn't go out of the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard, and I know like Baca got the tribe rolling with that and voting Mariah out, and so I feel complicit in it. And then for most of the times when you're seeing the tribes all walk up to an immunity challenge, seeing another woman voted out, it's like, oh shoot. I think the hope is that like once you get to the merge, if we can stick together at this point, like it's not going to be all men at the end, right? Like that's what we're hoping. And so I think that there was maybe fingers crossed that that there wouldn't be a woman voted out right at the merge, but
especially you. Yeah.
Especially me. I might have been one of the only 2 people hoping that it wasn't me. But
yeah. All right. Well, Elie, it was really nice to get the chance to talk with you. You were my winner pick this season, and so I kind of feel like I jinxed you. So I'm sorry about that. Yes.
From now on, I'm just going to blame you. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, you wouldn't be the first
for my downfall.
Elie, so nice to get the chance to talk today, and wish you nothing but the best outside of Survivor.
Thanks. You too. Nice to meet you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.